JB trackside 1, 2.5 sleeps out from the Rugby World Cup. Let's talk the big game now with Mark Stafford and Scotty Stevenson on the line. Afternoon, Steph. Good to have you with us. Now, this is a different sort of pressure for the All Blacks leading into this match. The last World Cup, it was the monkey off the back. We've done that. How does the preparation differ now that we're the defending champions?
Oh, I just think we've got so many guys that were there last time that experienced their first World Cup win and they know what to do. I'm still scratching my head over what half a sleep is. 2.5 sleep. I don't quite know what half a sleep is. I've been having a lot of those all week. But yeah, the All Blacks, I think they're better prepared given the 4 years ago, and our leaders, our leadership group, most of them were there, so that holds them in good stead.
Let's bring in Scotty Stevenson from the Sky Sport commentary team. Sumo, very good afternoon to you. This is the sort of World Cup that both these teams that have made it there on the back of really strong defence, but both are really strong attacking teams. What kind of game do you think we're going to see on Sunday?
Well, firstly, what a pleasure to be on RBTV on this lovely afternoon in Auckland City. Secondly, the assertion that Australia have got there on great defence is palpably ridiculous. They missed 33 tackles last week against Argentina. And if the Pumas hadn't come out to start that game as if they'd just done 3 lines of Maradona's cocaine, they may well have won that game. But, the All Blacks by far a better defensive outfit than the Australians. That's been proven by the numbers. Aussie missing 18 tackles a game, the All Blacks just 10. I don't know if defence is going to win this game. I think out-and-out attack's going to win this game, and if you look at out-and-out attack, the All Blacks are all over them. If they don't beat these chumps by 20 points, I'll be surprised.
Well, 4 tries the All Blacks have conceded in this World Cup. Australia have conceded 5. Steph, last weekend, discipline for the All Blacks was a little bit of an issue. Was that a sign of South Africa actually putting them under pressure, or is that something New Zealand need to address?
I think it was the style that they didn't adapt to that the referee was instilling on that game. And South Africa will suck you in to create opportunities for them to get it in threes, which they did get it in threes. New Zealand will learn for that. We're a very smart side, and they'll adapt better. Nigel Owens is a better suited referee to our style of play. He likes an open running play, continuation. He's very direct. It was a bit of a concern last week, but I don't think it'll be one this week.
Okay, Scotty, in regards to the loose forward trio, a lot's been made about how good the Pocock, the Fardy and the Hooper trio is. How did the All Blacks go about nullifying this?
Yeah, well, look, for starters, RB, you cannot have a team winning a Rugby World Cup whose nickname for their loose forward trio is the Fardy Pooper. That just does not sit well with me, and that ain't going to happen. I think the funny thing is everyone's looking at the McCaw v Pocock battle. I think that just negates, one negates the other, really. They're both exceptional at what they do. The real battle is going to be between Fardy and Kano, and I think Reid and Hooper, for a very different reason. Hooper, I think, or at least one of those guys, and I'm picking it's Hooper, has got to go after Aaron Smith. I think that'll form a lot of the Australian game plan around the breakdown is how they get Smith out of the game. Hooper's the sort of maggot who gets around, hangs onto your jersey, tackles you, holds you on the ground. That won't be Pocock's job. He'll be on the ball. I think Hooper's the guy you've got to watch out for. They've got to take him out of the game, and that is the role of a Kano and a Reid.
The fact that they've gone for this approach, Steph, with these 2 scavengers, does that depower the Australian line-out? We've seen the line-out as a real strength of the All Blacks, but with these 2 sevens really playing in their side, it only really gives them 3 line-out options with 2 locks and Fardy. Is that an area we look to attack?
Possibly, but I look back to the Hurricanes and their best line-out jumper was Victor Vito, and he wasn't their tallest guy. I don't think you need that extra 2 or 3 inches in height. It's all about timing and lifting, so I don't think that's a huge concern for Australia. It'll be an area we'll attack early, and if it's working, we'll keep attacking and put pressure on there. But, geez, I'd take the fetching of them over a little bit of line-out strength any day. They are great fetchers, the Aussies.
Sumo, back to you for a comment in regards to the All Blacks kicking last weekend. There was a Twitter storm in the first half. They were kicking it away. It worked really well for the Highlanders against the Waratahs in the semi-final of the Super 15. Would you be pretty keen to see the All Blacks stick with that pressure-kicking approach?
Well, it was a game plan for the South Africans specifically in the fact that Peterson and Habana are both guys who like to come out of the line and look for that intercept, and it's a team like the All Blacks that plays for width. Habana would know that plays quite off and on. So I always looked at their kicking game as just a tactical battle, really. They wanted to make sure that Habana and Peterson were kept on their heels, couldn't get up in the line to affect those intercept plays. So, look, it's a game of chess when you play South Africa. You've got to be tactically aware because you can't beat them at the power game. So for me, even in that first 20 minutes, I could just see what the All Blacks were trying to do, and that is keep that wide defence of South Africa's out of the line, and I thought they did that supremely well, and ultimately for me, that was the winning of the game, keeping South Africa pinned in their own 22, not allowing them chances in their own half.
Yeah, Ben Smith's been superb in this World Cup, Steph. He hasn't got the tries that the wingers have got, like Xavier Leeds on 8 in this competition, but he's been massive for the All Blacks at fullback. Bit of a question mark about Folau or Kurtley Beale. Do you see that as depowering Australia if Folau doesn't make that starting team?
A little. I haven't got the huge tickets on him that a lot of people have. I think he can be a little bit of a bully boy, and that's, I'm not disrespecting him, but when the opposition aren't as good as the All Blacks, he can shine. But we seem to be able to, nullify him a little bit. He hasn't got the rugby miles that Ben Smith, he's been playing since he was, I think, 3 months old, Ben Smith, down in the deep south there. But Ben Smith has got better every game, and he's wonderful at adapting. We know the talents he's got, Ben Smith, and he uses whatever talents he needs to in every game, and he's got better and better. Outstanding performance in the last one, and I'm expecting much the same from him again. Much more adaptable type player than what Israel Folau was.
Sumo, you've been in Australia a lot these last couple of weeks. What's the feel over there? Are they as excited as the World Cup final as we are? We know that the league and the AFL season is over. Is it really making the headlines over there?
Oh, well, I just think you've got to isolate Australia's rugby fans, and I can tell you by now, having been in live studio environments with them for the last couple of weekends, they are pumped up like bouncy castles. They are really looking forward to this. As always, Australia are playing the underdog tag against the All Blacks. In fact, speaking of Sean Maloney out of Fox last night on the breakdown, he's saying, if the Aussies get within 15 points, that's a victory. I love it when Australians talk like this, because you know what they're setting you up for. They're setting you up for a loss so they can claim it's the greatest win in the history of rugby union. But, I think there is genuine respect for what the All Blacks offer. Not that you'd read about that in the papers, because it's been pretty grubby the way they've come at the All Blacks and Richie McCaw in particular. But that's the fun. That's what the fans and the media get to do. The players, I dare say, aren't buying into this one iota.
Yeah, it's been a great World Cup rivalry across the year, really. We had the Cricket World Cup earlier on, Steph, the Netball World Cup. Goodness me, we couldn't possibly lose this game. It's really important, I think, for the All Blacks to win this. But a word on the legends in this team. We've got McCaw and Nonu and Carter and Conrad all retiring. It looks to me, I think, in history, like how could we possibly lose this game with this team?
Yeah, I actually said on one of the little chats I had with Richard Turner this morning, which has been recorded, it's a game that was designed in heaven, and if there is a God, we cannot lose this because Richie McCaw is the God of New Zealand. So I become religious if we win this.
Scotty, are you religious too? Do you think the Saints will prevail this weekend?
No, I'm not a religious man, but I'll just go on fact. And the fact is New Zealand has a far better team in this final than Australia does. So, I've got to rely on those numbers to get me through this weekend, mate. But as I said to you from the start, I just cannot see a way in which we lose this game. I think the All Blacks are just that much better than Australia is at this tournament.
Okay, two experts here, Scotty Stevenson, Mark Stafford. Boys, option number 65 in this. I'm going to spring this on you. The winning team and margin spread. The winning margin spread it is New Zealand 1-7, New Zealand 8-14, New Zealand 15-21, or New Zealand 22-28. Presuming you're tipping the All Blacks to win, which I'd say you both are, which of those winning margin spreads? Firstly, Steph, where do you think this one's going to go?
15-21, $5.
15-21, you take the $5.
If I had to take one, but what I'd do, I'd halve my wager and I'd spread it over two. So I'd take 15-21 and 22-28. So I'd have 15-28.
You'd chuck a 20 on both of those?
Yep.
Sumo, to you, your thoughts in regards to the 7-point increments in winning margin. How's this game going to play out?
Oh, I'm completely in agreement with Stafford, which is a rarity for us. So, we're making history all over the show on this particular episode of RBTV. I'm with Steph completely. 15 minimum. 15 minimum.
All right. Well,
15 minimum.
Give us an exact winning margin then, because I know that. I know that.
I'll give you 22. I'll take the lower end of that fourth slot.
You take 22. Well, look, I'd only written down the odds up to 20. So there you go. 20's paying 31, so it must be paying more than that. Steph, an exact winning margin?
Well, I did a stat on this.
Yes.
It was a couple of years ago, but the most common number between 15 and 30 that is hit in all rugby is 23.
23?
Yep, so I'll take 23. So Sumo can have 15 to 22, I'll have 23 to 28.
Exactly 23.
Happy days.
Okay.
23, not
All right.
Michael Jordan.
Well, those are the experts for what it's worth. I think maybe the All Blacks 7 to 14. I'm not as confident, but I still think that we will get the job done. Sumo, look, thanks very much for coming on this afternoon. Really appreciate your time here on TAB Trackside 1. Whereabouts are you planning to watch the game on Sunday?
Mate, I'll be in the studio at Sky Sport. We'll be bringing you the pre-match and the post-match and the half-time as well with Christian Cullen and Ian Jones. So I'll be sitting with a couple of All Blacks, neither of which have won a World Cup.
do those boys get excited in the studio throughout the game?
Oh, Christian Cullen doesn't get excited about anything because I think he was born into a vat of Valium. But, Ian Jones rides it hard. Jonesy rides it hard.
Good stuff. That's Scotty Stevenson, Sky Sport commentator, joined the Sky Sport team from the build-up. They're kicking off around 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. Mark Stafford, thank you for your time. Well, you're staying with us because
I'll kick on.
Exactly, you'll kick on. We're going to go across the Tasman shortly to catch up with Greg Martin to get an Australian perspective. We just had pretty Kiwi perspective in regards to the World Cup this Sunday. The boys confident of a strong New Zealand victory. Maybe that game against South Africa was the hump we had to get over. There'll be no lack of motivation with certainly the relationship between these two teams. A little bit feisty. Can't wait. 5 a.m. Sunday morning, tab.co.nz. A plethora of betting options. Have a look. The two we've discussed.
Plethora or plethora?
Plethora? Plethora.
I go plethora.
Plethora? Plethora of betting
could you
options.
pick that up, please?
I think the two you play, option 65, that winning team and margin, and also just have a little exact winning margin because the odds are so good. It's $18 for the exact winning margin if you pick any number between 1 or 12 and 12, any number by that exact winning margin.
Go more, so, go higher.
Yeah, well, I think you'd take a few. I'd put $10 on say 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And then those all paying 18, you're going to spend 50, you get 180. That's the way you play. Right, got to get to the Greyhounds, trackside 1 to Ballarat.